folks. Welcome to Burnt Offerings with P. Rob. We're here at the smokehouse. It is New Year's Eve. It is snowy. It's really, really cold, but we wanted to get a half picnic roast done today for you. And so we're going to be using our ThermoWorks RFX Wi-Fi thermometer setup with the ambient probe. We're going to be using the Masterbuilt Auto-Ignite, our smaller smoker. We're going to be using the regular fuel mix of B&B charcoal with some Western chips and some Pit Boss competition pellets in there as well. We're always going to be using just the Fire and Smoke Society seasoning. We're going to be using Sugar and Smoke today. That's a new one from them that I really, really like. And so I just wanted to give you a quick thought today. You know, things take time, and sometimes we try to rush things. Sometimes we want to push things through. Sometimes we want to crank it up a bit. And like this half picnic roast, it takes time. If we want to get that skin to be like chicharron, it's going to take some time at the end that we're going to go over as well at the end of that process. But, you know, things that matter take time, and you have to have patience. So in ministry, in leadership, in cooking, let the process work. Trust the process. And I think God's going to try to do something big in our life in 2026. Myself, you included, our church, all of our churches. I think God's going to do something great, but we have to trust the process. It takes time, and I got to remember that while during this cook, I can't rush it. I'm going to have to leave the smoker at 250. I'm going to let that flat start to build up with the pork, to let the skin work. And even during the time of the stall, I'm going to have to really wait to make sure that I'm allowing what needs to happen. I have to let it cook. And so we talked about this before. You have to let God cook in your life. And so I want you to just think about that as we go through this process. Slow and steady is what win the race. All right, let's get into the cook. Welcome to Burnt Offerings. All right, we got the sugar and smoke on there. We're going to put a little bit more on top, just make sure it's all sprinkled up. We put the ThermoWorks thermometer in there. All right, let's get it over to the Auto-Ignite. All right, we got the Auto-Ignite working there. There's the pork ready to go. We got a pan. We're going to put some apple juice under there for some moisture, and we're going to get the wood chips going there. Got some wood chips that fell. They'll smoke up fine. All right, and so what we do is we're going to have our RFX thermometer here, the ambient probe in the hub that's controlling the thermometer, and the ambient probe that's behind the pork. So let's start this thing up. And like we said, we're going to go to 250 degrees. It defaults at 450 because there's also a grill too. That's the lowest it can go, so we're going to get that going there. And so before we go, we have to close everything up. There. Let's smash that down good. All right, this is the Masterbuilt Auto-Ignite. The Auto-Ignite starts smoking immediately, I'm telling you. It's my best smoker. All right, just hit 160 degrees. And oh, baby, look at that. All right, so we're going to put that into there. I have apple juice, and there's also some beef broth in there, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right, all wrapped up. Now we're going to wait till it goes to 195. All right, it's time for the reveal. We just hit 198. And the next step is to work on the skin. Let's just show you what we're working with here. Oh, baby, look at that. All right, let's work on the skin. All right, we cranked it to 425, and now we're going to get that crispy skin going. Well, there you go. Chicharron style skin. We're going to let it heat back up so we can wrap it up for everybody. Good cook. Yes, that was a pretty good cook. Half picnic roast all said and done. Remember, you gotta let it cook. You gotta let patience have its perfect work in life, in ministry, in cooking. You just let it work and you see how it comes out. So I'm going to cut this up now for the family, and see you soon. Thanks for joining us on Burnt Offerings.